You do purple for the desk? I want to see purple. That's pink. You don't know how to do colors for it? It's okay.
I like the pink though.
I mean, yeah, as a choice B, it's excellent.
Okay.
What's
up, chat?
Let me see red really quick. Or is that red?
Yeah, it's like really dull.
Yeah, let's go back to pink. I like that pop.
Pop. What is up, chat gang?
You know what I mean?
Can they hear us yet?
Yeah, they can hear us.
Fucking
If the lights are on,
That's what I thought. That's why I was checking.
them's the rules. Them's the rules.
These are the rules.
Oh, the rules. I thought we moved this till tomorrow. I was very confused today. You know. Did we talk about moving it tomorrow?
I think so. And then we looked at it and we said, "Oh, we can't because of whatever's happening tomorrow."
Is there a lot happening tomorrow?
Yeah.
We got McCoog's in town, don't we?
Yep. Makuga's in town tomorrow.
Yeah.
Barrett, I might need you to run that. I might have to leave a little early. I'm going to the Denver.
I thought that was the other thing too. We did talk about this. Yeah, just.
I don't know, man.
All right, don't cry, don't cry. Hold it together, old
Ryan S says, "Hey, Bear, Kev, Greg. And I like it. Seasoning my cast iron right now. Nice. So I've taped my thumb, Barrett.
Okay.
To prevent myself from scratching it more. But I did the tape a little too tight. And it hurts.
Good.
Mr. Yasman 300, I have not seen Shaft yet. I don't know that I'm going to go see it. Just because I'm watching Yesterday tonight, and I think that's all I'm going to be watching. Demetrius, you're asking what's in Denver. Paula's family. We're going to go hang out with them for a little bit. It's going to be fun. Just the weekend. Little mini family reunion.
It's the freaking weekend, baby. Kevin's about to have him some fun.
Lexi Gunner asking me if I'm still watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think I watched 4 seasons, and it just kind of was like, eh.
And you're like, that's enough.
You know, this isn't even related to the actual MCU.
Yep.
But it was originally, but now it's not. Is that what happened?
It was always like
In a weird space.
where it was like, was it or wasn't it? Because it was Kevin Feige and some other dude that was running that.
Yeah,
and like
Feige was movies, the other guy was TV.
And the TV guy was like, I'm gonna make something cool too, and Feige was like, no.
No, you're
and then
not.
Feige got control of everything, got him fired.
And he got the Infinity Gauntlet, as they say.
Yeah, there was some drama between the
Drama.
movie
Whoa,
and TV
Mr.
heads.
Yasmin 300 says, Kevin, for international audience, Shaft is a Netflix original.
That's wild.
Wow.
It's what's wild is I hadn't heard anything about that. I feel like that's something
Because we're
people-
not international.
Yeah, I know, but people talk about that when a movie gets a wide release, but also release on Netflix in different countries. Kevin, are you gonna cover the Final Fantasy? Is that Final Fantasy 14?
Yep.
Show news?
Yeah, they're doing a show.
I haven't put together the news yet, so I'm totally unaware of stuff. Instead, I went
I think you
home
should
and...
go ahead and do it on Games Daily, because I know it's a screeny story.
Oh, that's so sweet of you.
No problem, baby.
There it is.
You want to do a show?
Yeah.
Yeah. just
Here's my
give me a
question, though.
second.
If in 25 minutes a pizza arrives, how do we handle that situation?
Somebody will put it in the kitchen?
Oh.
Are you worried you're gonna get a call?
No, he's worried. He's worried he's not going to eat it in
this thing.
26 minutes.
Yeah.
How many other people are eating on it?
A lot of them.
Really?
No, there's like 3, I think.
Including
Yeah.
us?
Yeah. No, not including us.
Okay.
There's 2 pizzas coming, though.
Oh, okay, great. It'll be fine.
2 peps.
I'm not too worried.
Yeah, but that's going to be cold.
You should have fucking gotten the other shows done on time. You didn't. You know what I mean? You didn't rein anybody in.
What? We're moving exactly when we were supposed to.
I'm trying to start the show right now. We could be done by the time the pizzas get
go.
here. You don't want to go?
Could we go for 30 minutes? Is that long enough?
How long do we last for? The shows is what it needs to be. And remember, yeah, I'm still trying to insert people into it and stuff.
Who do you got for Trevor?
I want to try to get Roylan in.
Yeah?
Because since I'm Skyping, it makes it easier.
Yeah, sure.
Because then I can Skype people in. We've always talked about doing stuff together, but he can never get up to SF.
I said we just go down there and hang out with him for a day.
I'd do that too.
Yeah.
I'd do that too.
I'll go with you, be the cameraman.
Okay.
All right, we are rolling. So whenever you wanna start, Greg.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the PlayStation VR show, the show that showcases the best that PlayStation VR has to offer. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the glue, Big Kev Dog, Kevin Coelho. Hi. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing. We're excited to talk about more PlayStation VR here in the second episode. Thought the first episode went real well. So this is the bar's high now.
Okay.
We can't screw it up now.
Okay.
Because we didn't screw it up last week. Blood and Truth was a dynamite hit. Now, real quick, did you save it? Are you sure you saved that video file?
Yeah, it's been backed up in 2 places. Right, Barrett?
Perfect. Yeah,
no
it's running
idea.
like a
He has
system
no
over
clue.
here, of course.
You know what I mean?
Because if you didn't know, this is the PlayStation VR show. Right now, we are recording it live for people watching on patreon.com/kindafunnygames because they supported us in the month of January to bring it back. However, they supported to bring it back, and we put a deadline on it that didn't make sense. We were hitting those deadlines, but then it was like, oh, wait, the shows will be on top of each other. We'll be putting out like 7 pieces of content a day if we did all this.
We have trouble thinking very far ahead.
We don't do that well. We have trouble
no.
thinking. You could have just put a period on the sentence right there.
You know?
So we're running through them, doing now, socking away the content, and then releasing it later on. We are excited about it. Today we're talking about Trover Saves the Universe, Kevin. But before that, remember that this PlayStation VR show is because your support on patreon.com/kindafunnygames. Consider going there, supporting us, getting other shows, watching things early, getting party mode, getting shows ad-free, having a good time. Remember, the audio version of it as one big MP3 is up on patreon.com/kindafunnygames as well. Kevin, Trover Saves the Universe. The latest game from Squanch Games, of course, Justin Roiland, his friends over there making games. They made Accounting Plus, they made that Rick and Morty VR game, and now we have Trover Saves the Universe, a game you can play in VR or not in VR.
I recommend VR.
Of course, me too. Barrett, you played it non-VR, right?
Yeah.
Because you're going to be on the shock mic, or that mic there for a little bit of this, I think. So don't get too comfy, I'll lead back there.
Right.
Released May 31st, 2019. Another very recent game. Last time, Blood and Truth was the 28th. These games right on top of each other. Right now, as of June 27th, a Metacritic of 76. IGN's Tom Marks in his review says, Trover Saves the Universe is a short and sweet VR platformer wrapped in one of the most ridiculous video game stories you'll ever see. Justin Roiland and Squanch Games have done an excellent job of taking the ludicrous free-form humor of Rick and Morty and molding it around a straightforward but enjoyable 3D brawler, even if it's lacking the complex and well-crafted plots the best episodes of the show are known for. It loses something when played in 2D, but takes such great advantage of its unique VR mechanics that it's one anyone, parentheses, or at least anyone over 17, given its rating, with a headset should try. Kevin Coelho, why is Trover Saves the Universe a great PlayStation VR game?
Man, they got the magic from Rick and Morty, bottled it, made it into a video game, and threw it in your face.
Yeah. literally a lot of things they're throwing in your face in this game.
It just, the humor in this is fantastic.
100%.
And I feel like there's a lot of things that, like, if you don't follow, like, the, you know, where you'll have a big moment where some giant person is talking to you and being like, all right, go and do this mission. And then if you just stay, they keep talking to you. And they keep going. And it's a solid, like, an extra, like, maybe like 5 minutes of this, like, all right, yeah, you should go now.
Yeah.
All right, you should go. And it's just so funny. And, like, it's constantly doing that and constantly grabbing my attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but you I mean, the nail on the head, I think, when you talk about this game is the humor of it. The fact that you never know what's going to happen. I was reading interviews with Justin before this. He, talked about how he did like twice the amount of
VR
needed to be, right? Because he wanted those things. Just like in one of my, Accounting Plus, one of my favorite PlayStation VR games before this. To see the evolution of that humor, to see the continuation of certain mechanics. But then also, I think the way that they give you so much to tinker with and screw around with that sometimes I got there naturally, which didn't happen for me in Accounting Plus, where Accounting Plus was like, oh, I'm moving around doing stuff, and then I'd like read like, oh no, if you just sit there, they'll say this, that, and the other, and I will go back and try it. Whereas like specifically in your multi-dimension machine or whatever, it was, the big boss talking to Trover, talking to us, and I turned around and I was playing the paper basketball game, and I was going and going, and they kept talking and talking, and finally Trover's like, dude, let's get the fuck out of here. Like, we did this, and I was like, oh shit, the button's been lit up for a while. I didn't even know, right? Yeah. Because I was enjoying listening to them. I was enjoying the little mechanic of trying to get the baskets.
I like that when it hits that line of like, okay, the joke's over. A lot of the people you're talking to will just make annoying noises.
Yeah. I mean, like for me personally, there's a lot of funny favorite moments in it. I've always been a big fan of it, both in the Accounting Plus one, when I watch a Rick and Morty, or like even SNL classic, right? Where is my own sense of humor in review, cracking yourself up. And so when they're doing a bit during this game and they start cracking themselves up
Yeah,
and you can
so
hear them
good.
wheeze laughing, but still delivering the lines and just powering through, like that is so enjoyable.
There were a couple moments where like I'm hanging around, I'm looking for the little, what are they called?
Power babies.
The power babies. That's right. And like the two people that are talking in the background start just being like, look, he's just standing there. Can you believe he's still here? What an idiot. And then they start laughing to themselves, and you can tell that, like, or at least it feels very much like these are just the people in the VO booth being like having a good time.
For sure. Like, yeah, when it was, the one where you got the guys on the castle wall. And you pass them and you come back, look, this fucking idiot back here. This guy, this dickless puss. And they just start, what was I saying? You just let them sit there and go. Like,
they kept talking about their like affair that they had in the trees.
Yeah, totally, right. And like, there's that stuff is so good. It is so much fun to listen to people having fun and making stuff that they're enjoying together. I thought some of the more fleshed out points were really good too, though. Like, right, of when you get to the one world and it's like, cool, I'll give you the rock you need or whatever. And of course, I assume you've played these games. If you haven't, we full on spoil everything. But this game, there's really nothing to spoil.
And I also haven't finished it.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I don't know how far I am. I think I'm 2/3. Like
Okay.
I'm about to go to the.
What world are you on? What was the last world you remember? Have you done Flesh World?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm on Flesh World.
Have you done
right
Mixed
now?
World?
No, maybe I finished Flesh World. I might be on Flesh World right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're getting there then. Don't worry about it.
I mean, but this is a game, like, I definitely could have beaten it by now.
Oh, sure.
But I am enjoying every moment of it.
Yeah.
And taking my sweet time going through everything, trying to find all the babies.
Power babies.
Power babies, that's it.
100%. Like, that's what I like about this game, I think, is that this is very much about the journey, not the destination.
Yeah.
Last night when I did beat it, right, and it was like, okay, that's the end of the game. And like, he's like, cool, if you want, you can go back and replay levels. Yeah, no, nothing's different. And like, they joke around even about that. Like, it's such a fourth wall breaking game. Fourth wall breaking game.
And one thing that's interesting is that, like, you can make decisions, like, some of them are like obvious, where it's like whenever there's a vendor, you're gonna end up killing its pet.
Yeah,
the
best. And that's one of the things I was joking at in terms of like, there's so much good ad-libbing, laughing, just talking humor, but then some of the things you do in the game and the way things react cracked me up every time. And so when it's like, will you go kill these things? Sure. And I jump over and I kill them. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, those are my pets. And Trevor's like, what? I'm sorry, man. I didn't know they all look the same.
But then sometimes you have in the second world, I think it was the second world, you help that lady move her stuff.
Yeah, the boxes.
And if you don't help her, you don't get a power baby at the end. But if you do help her and then kill her because she's talking too long, you don't get a power baby. So now I'm missing one power baby that I can't get. And it's upsetting.
You'll replay the level. You'll go back and get it. Don't worry about it.
I wanted it on my first run.
But like, I was like, I mean, this reminded me so much of Accounting Plus in the way that these are games that make me laugh out loud. And games have always, I thought, struggled with comedy. That's a hard thing to pull off in an interactive thing. So putting you into a world, immersing you to it, and limit the limitations that come with VR, I think, works so well towards that. And so, especially when you got to the one world and the guy with the Band-Aid over his dick or whatever, and like Trevor's yelling at him like, I'm gonna tear that off and find out what's in it. But then it's like, you got to kill Kevin, I think, or maybe, or Michael. You got to kill Michael, right? And you get up to Michael's house, and it's like, oh, you got a choice. Who do you want to kill? And I'm like, I'm going to kill Michael. He's got all these pregnant women strapped down there, and he wants to eat the fetuses or whatever.
It's like, cool, you're just going to kill all these pregnant women, huh?
Trevor's like, all right, cool, we're going to kill all these pregnant women. And I guess
did you kill Michael?
Yeah, I pushed that house over. Yeah, totally. And then Band-Aid Dick shows back up, and he's just like,
I
awesome. All right, now that's not. I got to go find my 12 pregnant wives.
Also, at the end, when it was like, well, yeah, all these stones are just laying around. I don't understand
why did we do any of this? Were they here the whole time?
Funny.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They subvert
and then
that
Trevor
expectation.
being like, yeah, they're right there.
Yeah.
They're literally right there.
Yeah. No, that was so good, and like the fact that there's those jokes in between, like you don't know what's coming, and like there's Trover. From trailers and like the reveal and even like starting the game, like, is this guy just a dick the whole time? Like the way you actually build a partnership with him is really funny. The way like when you run into his ex-roommate running the prison, and he starts telling you, and at the end he's like, "Listen, partner, I did say all that stuff. I do hate what is it, Cheropians or whatever. I do hate Cheropians, and I did I did bring home a whatever. I did bring home a rough instead of a duff one time or whatever. Like it was just like." The most ridiculous bullshit that was just funny around it. And then I love the one where you're very smart. You're of course the Kevin the GoPro. When I got up there and the puzzle with all the touch blocks escalates and it gets to the crazy one, and I'm just like hitting everything, and Trevor's like, "Oh man, they said it wouldn't be a game like this. Isn't all right? I'll blow it up. I'm just getting rid of it." I just struggled with it too long. He just destroys it and gets rid of it.
That's interesting because Well, no, yeah, he tells you to come back down, right?
Yeah.
So
there's another one later on too.
Yeah, and I got that one. There was a demo, right?
You might have played at E3 or something. I remember.
Maybe,
Yeah.
but it was that part.
Oh yeah.
Because I remember I got the puzzle that time, and I couldn't get it when I did it this time.
Yeah.
And when I went back down, it didn't let me go back up, and yeah, he blows the door out.
Yeah.
And it's such a bummer because, like, yeah, puzzles are so much fun.
So everything we're saying right now, before I started this game, I was like, I bet I'm going to say all that about it, of how funny it is, how moment to moment it is, the ad-libbing, yada, yada, coming off of Accounting Plus. What I didn't expect was to enjoy the gameplay as much as I did. And because Accounting Plus is a fun, comical thing, but it is very much just like you're there and things are happening around you. And yeah, you spray paint or you shoot the other people or you knock things off your desk. But it didn't feel like a game as much as a longer experience, which I enjoyed. Trover Saves the Universe is not on the same caliber, but it's a watered down Astrobot, and not in a bad way. Astrobot, of course, like an amazing game.
I had the same thought yesterday, where it's like, this is a watered down Astrobot. Well, like, I feel like the movements in Astrobot are a little bit better. Just
more precise.
Whenever I was trying to get somewhere quickly, it was always a little bit of a hassle.
Yeah, sure. Where you're gonna land, what's gonna happen, stuff like that. But all that said, I enjoyed playing it. Playing Trover Saves the Universe, and I mean playing it, right? Of like, if you haven't played, of course, and I hope we're putting in B-roll. I made more stuff of it yesterday. You're a Chairopian, which means you're from a race of people that just sits in a chair. A great way to make this happen. Because I turned it on again. I've demoed or saw demos for it, months, if not years ago, or 8 years ago, and so I had the two move wands in my hand. And then I started, I'm like, oh, right, the controller thing. And
Could you do move wands?
No.
Okay, all right,
it forced me to use the DualShock, and I did, and I was like, oh, man. And like, I sat back on the couch, and I took off the headset, and I put Porty next to me, because I was totally prepared for, I'm going to be moving around, flailing around. I was in basketball shorts. I'm like, I'm going to get hot. And I was like, oh, no, this isn't that at all. It is an Astrobot kind of thing. And so to sit there and have that control and have them explain it with the humor and the goofy-ass story they've created of your dogs getting kidnapped and put into the eyes of this world destroyer. Okay. But then to get actually going and control Trover and be like, holy shit, like, this is actually fun. Like, it's not challenging, I don't think. Like, I think that's actually one of the reasons I think it's not a great video game. And this is how we, break it up of what makes it a great PlayStation VR game, what makes it not a great video game. I enjoyed playing it. I enjoyed I was enjoying the counterbalance of like, okay, here comes a shielded guy, but then at the end you're really juggling a whole bunch of different types of enemies. Eventually, you really get into puzzle solving of like, cool, I need to catch this ball and electrify it and move it around while Trover's fighting. So I'm doing that with my head and button combinations, and I'm also fighting down here.
Which is also a really cool concept of being like forcing you to do two things, like moving the cauldron.
Yeah.
And like getting it close, but you're also trying to dodge and fight.
Yep.
Really cool.
Yeah, exactly, right? And that was the thing too, of like in the beginning when it was, oh man, okay, hey partner, remember we gotta kill these guys in front of the cauldron to get there. Like, okay, cool. And I'm trying to lure them to the cauldron before I was like, oh shit, and like look at it, grab it and move it. And I was like, that's really cool. And same thing with
some of the lines like, hey man, it'd be really cool if there was like a mechanic that we just learned, be really useful right now. And it was like, oh, that's right, we can move stuff.
Yeah. And when you eventually get the chair upgrade, right, of being able to use the 3 different like planes of existence, right? So you're on Trover's level, you're mid level, and you're way high. Like doing that and then being like, oh man, there's a power baby over there, or this, blah, blah. Like, again, Accounting Plus was fun and I enjoyed it, and I still think it's a fantastic experience.
Yeah.
But this was so much more of a game than I was expecting, especially to end the level and be like, oh man, I missed 8 power babies, and I thought I did a pretty good job of looking for power babies. I need to figure that out. Or seeing the thing of like, oh, that's one of the things I need to smash to get a power baby. I don't have time to get to it right now, which is different than...
Or I don't have the ability to get there right now. Something's going to be added later.
Sure.
You get the double jump or the roll.
Totally, right? And I thought that was all really, really well done, and it was unexpected for me. And I think it's actually really cool to see Squanch Games making that progression, right? From going from, all right, cool, they know passive TV, or Justin Roiland knows passive TV, and as a creator, to see him make a VR game that was like, okay, it's a little bit more than just a TV show, now to something that's like, okay, this is like a game that I do think stands on its own of, hey, this is a fun game to play.
Yeah.
But Kevin Coelho, what do you think makes it not a great video game? Or do you think it's a great video game all around?
I did have some problems with like, it's super minor, but like the controller was never, when I looked down, was never aimed the right way.
Oh, really?
It was just always sideways, and it was just like, I don't know what the hell's going on. I kept trying to like correct it.
Yeah.
And then also, the mechanics on moving, whenever I had completed the level and it was going back to find like any power babies that I had missed.
Power babies.
It was always like, like once I got the roll, it was a little bit better, but it was like roll, or like run, hit it, hit it, and it's just like I wish there was something a little bit smoother.
Yeah.
But I understand the limitations that we have.
Barrett, this is where I'd really like to come in because I know you didn't love Trover Saves the Universe from what we talked about, but you also didn't play it in VR, right?
No, I did not. So I don't own a VR unit, but I was. Hold on, I'm gonna fix the camera here. But I did want to play the game because I am a big fan of Rick and Morty, so I was just like in the mood for that humor.
Yeah.
And so I did go through it. I think all in one sitting. And yeah, like the game itself, like I don't think it's a great game.
Like cutting himself in half.
Okay.
Okay, just let him do his thing.
Like yeah, it's like a very basic kind of beat 'em up platformer, and like that stuff. Like I didn't really like have a huge problem with. It was just like yeah, this is a basic ass game, an excuse to like have all these jokes and whatnot. The thing that I was a little more bummed out about was the humor itself didn't grab me as much as I wanted it to. Like I loved the bits in the first world, like yeah, like the weird Band-Aid dick guy and like how it all kind of like comes back in the end and killing the shop owner's pet and all that stuff. But then it felt, I don't know, after the first world, like the jokes kind of felt flat to me. Like there were the two guys like on the castle balcony or whatever, and I felt like that was the last gag that I like chuckled at. And then the rest of the game, I don't know, there was something about it, and this might just be something like because you don't have the full Rick and Morty writing team on the game, it's less it's more of the ad-libbing from Rick and Morty and way less of having actual things to say and plot and stuff.
Sure.
And I realize it's the combination of those two things is why I love Rick and Morty. And when you take one of them out, I was realizing like, oh, I don't vibe with just this aspect as much as I thought I would. So yeah, like at the it's a fine game. Like I didn't hate it or anything.
How did it? I was reading reviews today to get boned up for this, right? And everybody was reviewing it from the VR perspective. And then I did an hour of it, and I don't know if I would recommend it that way. Yeah. They were making it sound like, obviously, you lose a lot by not being in VR in terms of setting, but even in controls, right? Of like, I didn't even think about it where they were like, in VR, obviously, if I'm doing two different things, I can just glance down at Trover and make sure he's in the right spot and go back up here, where I guess they were saying that seemed to be more of a disconnect looking at a TV of trying to navigate it down, eyes off that, get back up.
I never felt that way because most of the time, like going throughout the world, I felt like my focus was on Trover.
Yeah.
And I never felt, and it obviously it's because I'm not in VR. Like I didn't feel the need to focus anywhere else. Every once in a while, just like stay around and like watch the two guys on the balcony just talk to each other for a while. But yeah, the game wasn't designed for that to happen a lot, I guess, in just like a regular play setting where like I feel the need to look around where Trover isn't.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel that disconnect, but I also haven't played the game at all in VR. So
gotcha. Yeah, because playing it in VR, I was like, man, I like this experience. I like being able to look around. I did appreciate when they ask you questions and it's a head nod.
And then the nod, it's
shake your head
crazy
or head nod,
how like it really makes you feel very in the moment.
Oh, totally, right?
Because it's like I could say no right now. And then also, like, it helps you create the character that you're playing, you know?
Yeah, if you're, like, when I was feeling like I'm starting to bond with Trover, right?
Yeah.
And he's bonding with me. Like, obviously, I had his back when he'd lie about stuff, right? Yeah. When hey, go kill this village full of creatures. Okay, and we come back and he describes a completely different village.
Yeah.
And it's like, is that how it happened? Yep, that's exactly what, we killed the right people on that one.
Did you kill all the people?
Oh, yeah.
I guess there was probably no other option.
No, you cannot kill anybody and come back and said, and the trophies are attached to it or whatever.
Oh. Yeah, I murdered everyone
Of course,
instantly.
yeah. And again, Trover then, Trover not being this shitbag, right? Of just being like, oh my God, we're murderers. Like, are we the bad guys? He's screaming at one point.
I'm glad that I'm not the one doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
exactly. Right. Yeah, I thought that was all good. Similar to what you were saying, Barrett. I mean, especially for like if the humor is going to grab you or not, right? The one like what makes it not a great game. I was after Accounting Plus and not knowing much about this coming in. I think giving you the same, spaceship, I'm going to call it, Trover, boss, all that, did make it all feel very one note. Whereas what I loved about Accounting Plus, right, is that we kept jumping into different virtual reality things, so we kept getting deeper and deeper into different worlds and different characters, and it was always like
dumb fucking game.
So dumb, but so much fun. We're always on to another thing. You don't know exactly what's around the next bend, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas with Trover, now granted, this is like you didn't finish it. You're playing, enjoying yourself as you should. I enjoyed myself as well, but it was a little bit of like, ooh, there's a power baby. You know what? I need to beat this tonight. I'm gonna keep going, and so then it does just get to like, All right, is this the last world? Okay, there's gonna be one more world, and I already know before I open the door, right, that it's gonna be that I'm gonna go out there, and there's gonna be the little receptacle thing to run Trover to that I warp to, and we warp around, and then I'm gonna eventually have to move some blocks around and do this thing. And it was just like I missed the Accounting Plus. Like I'm here, and what is this world going to be? And granted, they do pepper in new powers, new abilities, new things to do, and I do recommend this game wholeheartedly for people who want a fun, goofy experience. But it was a little bit like, okay, this is one note. I know where we're going from it.
Yeah, I don't disagree that it's very one-notey, but I just think that, like, there's enough fun out there that where it's like, when I started playing, I was like, oh, I'm going to try to go through it. And as soon as, like, you start getting those power baby, he's just like, oh yeah, great, that's another power.
Oh, I'm tingling.
He's like, I'm so invested in this.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, I want to keep getting this.
For sure, it's definitely the thing of I want to go back and platinum this.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I feel like I do want to go back get the power babies. I do want to see the other versions of things that the joke. What's the joke if I don't do X, Y, or Z? Like I love the game. I think it's a great game. I want to play more of it and go back to it. But it was just a little bit of like, and again, I think it's the way I was playing it with pressure of we got the show tomorrow. Jen's coming home tonight. Like there's other things I need to do. Like I think that might have not soured it, but driven home a little bit more of like, cool. But I enjoyed it. I had a great time with it.
I was just gonna say I don't know. I won't have time to play it. Well, I might. Like I shouldn't play it tonight, but I think I might turn it on and play it
tonight.
Because I've got to do screencast and I've got a flight tomorrow and I got to prep all this stuff.
Sure. Screw it,
I'm
man.
probably gonna
Let
play
Tim
it.
do some stuff. You know what I mean?
Play it.
Yeah.
Because I'm excited. I want it to I want to know the conclusion, and like I'm really bummed that I didn't get that one power baby.
Yeah.
Because like other than that, I have all of them.
Yeah.
And it's just like
Yeah, I want to know the way he keeps building up.
Yeah,
to
like
what this giant.
And I know it's gonna be a disappointment.
It's gonna not be cool at all, of course, right?
Yeah. But it's gonna be fun, you know.
The one thing I was thinking about when I was sitting here reflecting, getting ready for the show is, I wonder how much. You okay there? Drinking problem?
Yeah, a little ice got stuck there.
Okay. I wonder how much of it's going to stick with me, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Because even looking back at Accounting Plus, right? I always tell the one thing of like, when you pick up the brick and they're like, oh no, that's too far. Don't throw that brick through the window. Do not throw that brick through the blah. And like, that's the funny moment of Accounting Plus that really stands out to me. And
then they all get murdered.
Yeah. But so it's that thing of, I look back at Accounting Plus and I'm like, that was a really funny game.
Yeah.
But then it's hard for me to give you the specifics of what was funny. Now, granted, that's a comedy in general in a lot of ways.
I feel like that the two guards standing on the top of that castle, like that conversation I loved it. Every part of it, like them, talking shit about us, and then them also just randomly keep going back to like, and then we went to the woods, and he was like, dude, I thought we'd agreed not to talk about that.
Yeah.
And then we get the conclusion of like, yeah, they fucked in the woods, and then they die.
And even towards the end here, when he starts to, do you know what the guy with the dog eyes? What is it? Glorkin.
Glorkin. Yeah.
Glorkon. Do you know what Glorkon's building? What his goal is here?
No, I have no idea.
And I don't.
No, you can tell you. It's fine.
He's trying to build his true love or whatever, right? Or whatever. And so it's the same thing of like just random ass dialogue of them talking about her, how she's gonna have 16 buttholes and all these dicks that'll be erect all the time. It's just like all this detail and shit, and then you'll start doing things like, well, now it's only gonna be 12 buttholes, but I'll still love her regardless. And It's like. Such a weird game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I think that like, it's not a game that I don't know actually. I think I'd recommend this to someone like on like a fun experience if you like
totally.
Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Where it's like I think it's gonna stay with me. I think there's gonna be moments where we randomly say things.
I feel like right. There's those senses of humor and moments to it that I think who vibes with you comedic, right? And I always go back to when I think of Justin Roiland, right? Like the way I got introduced to Justin Roiland was he kept coming to IGN's Comic-Con stage when I'd be hosting and doing the balcony segments. And every year he'd come and at the end of it go, where's Craig Harris? I need to see Craig Harris. Because he's a real IGN fan and had read every one of Craig's DS reviews. And Craig had been gone for years and years and years. And I always thought it was the funniest thing in the world. And I was like, that guy's funny. And people were like, oh man, you should watch Rick and Morty. You'd love Rick and Morty. And I was like, it doesn't look like my kind of show. And it wasn't until like his third year or whatever, multiple years, where somebody was finally like, and he also made House of Cosby's. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And they're like, he made House, and I was like, I fucking adored House of Cosby's. Yeah. A Rudy! And so like, I stopped him that year and told him how great he was and how much fun. And that's the kind of thing where it's like, would I recommend this game to everybody? No, but by the fact that you're watching Kind of Funny and think Greg Miller and Kevin Coelho are funny, you probably have the same sense of humor in that vein that you dig Justin Roiland's humor. You dig this kind of game, even if it is just a headset on, what the fuck am I doing experience. I wouldn't recommend it in VR based on just my own experience in VR. Like when I wasn't playing it, I was like, I'm sorry, when I was playing it, I was like, I can't imagine this is just a flat TV game. Yeah. I'm getting too much out of the world, exploring it and being part of it that way. You understand what I'm saying?
Did the doorbell just go off?
I
believe so.
Okay. Your pizza's here.
Yeah, the food's here.
Okay.
Just making sure.
I hear people moving. People on it. Don't worry.
All right. I'm just.
I went, of course, and said, hey, this is the PlayStation VR show, patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. What do you got for me for reviews? Brian Sweeney wrote in with his Trover Saves the Universe comments and says this. Something I really appreciated about Trover was that I didn't feel like a neglectful partner while in VR. The game is so funny and entertaining that my girlfriend was watching while I played and laughing along the whole time. That is another feather in the game's cap, where I find myself... I hate playing VR games when Jen's home or awake. Like when she goes to bed, I usually stay up and play games anyway. That's a better time for me. Yeah. But like when we were doing Blood and Truth, not even for the show, but for when I wanted to play it and just enjoy it, it was that thing of like, I'm sorry. She's like, I really don't mind. It's okay. Don't worry about it. But you still feel like an idiot because I'm flailing around. I hear her giggling or whatever. And with this one, at one point I did pop off and check a text message. And then I looked at the TV and it looked so much better, like a normal game, where I was like, if she was here, this would actually play fine, where she'd be able to watch this and enjoy it. So it's nice to hear Brian echo that.
For like, Paula likes Rick and Morty, but she was just like, I had a busy day. I don't need this nonsense. I'm gonna watch something else, and it's like PSVR is so great that you can just change the channel. And on the TV, she was watching something else, and I was sitting there, yeah, exactly.
Totally. The amount of times I found myself, I think I laughed more in Accounting Plus. I remember being like crying in laughter with Accounting Plus, and to the point where Tim afterwards was like, I thought you were fucking with me. Like I thought you were doing it just to get me to ask what was going on. But I still, again, love Trover Saves the Universe, but I would still give Accounting Plus, I think, the nod as the game I would recommend over it.
Really?
Yeah. But it's hard to say because I think
to me is too small of an experience.
And that's what I was about to say. Trover is actually a game.
This is a game, yeah.
Yeah, it is actually a game or whatever.
But then my counter argument, again, because I'm a little more down on the game, is that, it's a full game, but then the experience in the loop, I don't feel like is satisfying. So, like, I haven't played Accounting Plus, but, like, the way you describe it seems like a more, like, something that, like, I feel like should be recommended more, just because after 3 hours of doing the same thing over and over and over again.
And that's the thing, right? Accounting Plus is like, if you don't like this, it's going to end soon enough and you can move on to the next thing. Whereas with Trover, if you don't, you're like, it is just a button mashing, beat 'em up kind of thing.
But if you like it, it's so good. I was just thinking right now where like getting the platform mechanics down sometimes was a little difficult just because like the angles you were looking at and stuff. And like the game just being like, oh man, it seems like you're bad at platform mechanics. Seems like that's maybe not going to be useful right now. And it's so funny the way it makes fun of you.
And there was one, I forget, where I smashed the lock for the first time, I think, or whatever, and you went through and Trevor was like, oh my God, you're so good at problem solving. Did your parents like force you to be good at problem solving so that you did it so much that you were forced into it that you hated it?
Yeah.
And so you didn't do it? And it's like, this is exactly the kind of comedy I want out of something like this. Yeah. Well, Kevin, what do you say when we check in and see what Justin Roiland has to say about all this?
Oh man, that's a big thing that we might need to edit out if you can't get it.
Well, I know, that's why I'm doing two of them.
Yeah.
Well, Kevin, that's enough about Trover Saves the Universe. We like to put extra things in here. What do you say we check in with Eka about Falcon Age?
It's too bad we couldn't get Justin Roiland.
We'll see, everybody. I'll give you the options. Well, Kevin, I think that about sums it up for Trover Saves the Universe. You recommend it?
Oh yeah, I recommend it if you like this type of humor.
Yeah.
If you like Rick and Morty, if you think that's real funny stuff, you're gonna enjoy this game. It's very good. I really like that humor.
I do too.
I think this
That's
game
my thing.
is fantastic.
And again, I love, how I love watching developers progress. Again, like I said earlier, it's really cool to compare this to Accounting Plus.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, like this is a real game, in quotes, right? You're moving along that way. And again, I enjoyed the gameplay out of it. I think you do need to play it in PlayStation VR. Not at all trying to discredit Barrett not like vibing with it.
I think that
there's a lot of people who are going to turn it on and be like, I don't vibe with this humor. I don't understand what's going on. But even when he pulls out the the Power Baby and makes the new Power Baby eat
Every
the Power
single
Baby.
time, I'm always like, this is hilarious.
And he's always so excited about it.
And he always says something like a little different, where it's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, man, this never gets old. Look at him just eat the other one." It's just, yeah.
Kevin, what do you say for PlayStation VR Season 2, Episode 3? We do Astrobot Rescue Mission finally.
Ooh.
Right? Because that's
I like
a game.
that a lot.
That's a game. And
That's
it'll
a
also,
game.
then it's going to also be able to compare and contrast, obviously,
Yeah,
that this is good, but this is this is what a
yeah.
game built just for those mechanics is like.
Right.
All right.
Okay, I'm excited. That's really cool. I've been meaning to get back to it.
Good. Ladies and gentlemen, that's your homework for the PlayStation VR show. Episode 3 next week, Astrobot Rescue Mission. Get out there and play it. Remember, of course, PlayStation VR was provided to us by PlayStation for review purposes. Lay off us, FTC. Let us know about what you think. What?
I bought mine.
Oh, Kevin bought his like a sucker. You know what I'm saying? Barry, what an idiot. Let me know what you think of Trover Saves the Universe. Comments below. We'll edit that cough. Edit that cough out. Yeah.
No, leave the cough in.
I don't give a shit.
Amplify it. Put it in a couple more times.
Cool guy, play it on a loop. Until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.
All right.
Fun stuff.
Can you hit up PlayStation and ask them to send us another one?
Yeah, Andy asked me to do it for him, and I did, but it was like right as E3 was ramping up, so I should probably ping that thread.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I just want the little box. Because my little box, you know, the
Yeah, I know exactly what the box is. Yeah.
Mine doesn't do the HDR pass through.
Oh, you want the new one to like
I
swap
just
them
wanna
out?
swap it
Oh,
out,
totally.
yeah.
Yeah, I can do. Do we not? We have one here. Just swap it out with the one I have at my desk. Oh, that's not a new one. Sorry, I'm going the opposite direction with it. Hey everybody in the chat,
We're
looking
still
over
streaming?
here.
We still streaming?
Of course we are. Kebab says I did the IGN guide for Astrobot, then I will use it to platinum it, but I need to platinum the other one first. Division, that's what I mean.
Astrobot's a fun little game.
It is. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I did the same thing where I mean to get back that forever. I never have, so it'll be great.
I like this.
Cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning this in. Gamescast in 20 minutes.
Jesus.
But first,
Jesus
pizza.
Christ. Ooh, I forgot about that. Kill the lights and mute us so I can say all the horrible shit I like to talk
Oh my
about.
God.